Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm gonna let you guys come into the conversation. So just take your time coming in here. Today we got a good conversation going on about something that I think you will find interesting. This is something that I talk about because I care a lot about what's going on with Black people, young people, and I pay attention to hip hop because that affects a lot of young Black people. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this rapper Tekashi69 and what's kind of going on with him. And I'll brief you on the background on this. It's a really interesting story for those who haven't followed it. Some of you have followed it, but either way, you haven't heard it the way you're going to hear about it from here. So before I move on, though, I want to introduce my special guest. My special guest to talk about this today is a rapper out of LA by the name of Bunny Liiu. Bunny, that's spelled Liiu. How you doing today, Bunny?
I'm good. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Glad to have you. And I know you do your thing on the mic. And I thought it would be interesting to have a conversation about a rapper with a rapper, and also about a young person with a young person. And I know you're a few years younger than me. I don't know exactly how many, but young enough to give a perspective that's going to help my perspective, because I know I want to learn. I want to understand what's going on as well. So let's start from the beginning. Okay, so Tekashi69, for people who don't know who Tekashi69 is, I'm gonna give you who I know he is, and then you can tell me what you know about him in terms of what he was in hip hop. I knew him as a dude that had all these tattoos on his face, like he had the number 69 on his face and tattoos everywhere. I think he was a blood because he had a lot of red, and his videos would get hundreds of millions of views, and he became the biggest rapper. Well, at least one of the top 2 or 3 biggest rappers out here. 50 Cent even said he was the king of New York. He kind of came out of nowhere and shit. I don't know how that happened, but then later on, the shit hit the fan, and now he's facing like all this Fed time, and he's getting there kind of snitching on his friends and whatnot. So that's what I know about Tekashi. Tell me, as an insider on hip hop, what have you know about Tekashi? What do you see?
Basically, you got the whole spiel. Tekashi69 is basically, he's a Mexican kid from New York. And he basically blew up out of nowhere. He had a number one song on the Hot 100. It was Gumo, and he had a whole bunch of other songs that were huge. He just recently had dropped an album while he was in prison. His album dropped. It actually didn't do too good, I guess, because the whole situation with his legal situation is, really kind of messing up his career right now. From what I know, you already had touched on it. He's blood affiliated, and he actually really wasn't gang affiliated before he entered into the rap game. So extremely just all out there, just a different type of character. In all of his interviews, he's very disrespectful to everybody around him. Just all out, you can't touch me, very cocky type person. And everybody around him, including people on the Breakfast Club, like Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God, and his other counterparts in the music industry, was telling him to watch out. You need to slow down, because you're going to all of these concerts. His concerts in New York and LA got shut down because everybody was afraid to book him, and he was doing extremely too much. And it turned around. We all woke up one day and he got arrested for racketeering charges and also attempted murder charges, because he was trying to, I guess, basically assassinate a fellow rapper by the name of Chief Keef. So Tekashi69 is all over the place, and basically he's perpetuating a image that he can't sustain because he's locked up now and he's doing all sorts of crazy stuff. So
wow, that's deep. Let me show everybody pictures of Tekashi. I pulled it up online so you can kind of see he stood out instantly for obvious reasons. He had the colorful look, all the shit on his face, and it kind of almost like a cartoon character, really.
He looks like cartoon character, most
definitely. Yeah, he was, and so that right there kind of stood out, and I guess everybody's trying to find a way to stand out in hip hop and stuff like that. And what's really funny, when I was taking notes, just so you know, whenever you're talking, if I'm looking down and doing like this, it's because I'm literally taking notes on what you said, because it makes me think about stuff. And again, I'm coming to this, from a different perspective in that, like I was into hip hop, before Tupac and then ever since then, right? And when you do that, you kind of get a ability to see the trajectory. You see how things have evolved, right? And I'm gonna tell you, when you said that he had an image he couldn't sustain, and he was running around really like going over the top, everybody was wanting him to slow down. His tour. In fact, I think his tour was called like "Test My Gangster."
Yeah.
And I was like,
he said that in all his interviews. He was telling everybody, "Test my gangster, try me. I'm good in this hood. I'm good in that hood." Like he was really doing it. Like he was pretending like he was Al Capone or something like that, and everybody's just looking at this skinny Mexican kid like, bro, like you're really not about this life. Like what's going on? Well, and that's the energy portrayed.
Let me say this, like I don't think anybody really wants to be about that life. People who live that life don't want to live that life. Like that whole "test my gangster," like that means you're inviting every gangster with something to prove, everybody with a gun on their hip, everybody with nothing to lose. You're saying, come on, I want all of y'all to come at me. And you that does not end well. It's like when the one rapper he reminds me of a little bit without the same level of intelligence though is Tupac actually. Before Tupac died, that's what people said. It was almost like he got carried away with the culture and he was in it. And when he did Hit 'Em Up, when he did that song Hit 'Em Up, Hit 'Em Up, right? Yeah, when he did that song, one of my friends, Willie D from the Ghetto Boys, he said, when I heard that song, I said to myself, somebody finna get killed. That's exactly how he said. He said, somebody finna get killed because it was like Pac just went way over the top. He's like, I'm going to go to the extreme of everything. Test my gangster. Like, that's basically what he was saying. And one of my friends at the time, she said, well, if all you're doing is rapping about roses, eventually somebody going to bring you some flowers, right? You know what I mean? And that's what it was like. So it almost seemed like he was kind of asking for like chaos in his life. Is that kind of the impression that you had?
Asking for chaos? No, but he did. I believe he found something that worked for him because he was all over social media, basically trolling. That's what we called it in our generation, trolling, like impersonating other rappers and posting funny videos and stuff like that. And this generation, the generation that I live in, I'm not sure if I'm X, Y, or Z, whatever. And the generation that we live in right now, social media is a huge part of our lives. Instagram, posting on Instagram, going on live and things such as that nature, basically what we're doing right now. But instead, everybody is doing something to be seen. Tekashi69 was doing any and everything to be seen, aside from his crazy ass hair. He was doing any and everything to be seen. And it was working for him. It was selling his music, it was selling out his shows, and the impressionable white kids from the suburbia was eating that shit up and going to all of his shows and buying all of his merchandise. He was getting rich off of acting like a asshole. And that's the problem with the music today. Aside from Tekashi69, we have a Lil Pump and we got, all of those fools that are basically doing crazy shit to seek attention from these suburban white kids and other kids like them who don't know anything about gang culture and how you can get in trouble for doing stupid shit on the internet. And I don't think he was looking for trouble. He placed himself in trouble, and what you put out is what you receive. And yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was going to tell everybody, let everybody know I'm talking to the rapper Bunny Liiu, and she's also not just a rapper. She's a very smart young lady, and we're talking about Tekashi69 and his whole situation with the feds and the culture, just the culture of gangsterism and gangster rap and everything else, and whether or not there are dangers in the culture that some young people are not made aware of. And so let me go back to that point you just made, Bunny, about this whole issue of doing this for the white kids, like doing this to impress the white kids. They're watching this all on social media. They think for them it's a game, right?
Right.
For them, it's like fun. It's a fantasy. It's like, oh, please be a gangster. You be a killer nigga. Like they love that shit, right? But
Right.
they're not the ones that end up dead or in prison. Because what I understand, Tekashi's not the first rapper out of New York recently to face like Fed charges, RICO charges, stuff like that. Are you familiar with RICO?
No, is that something to do with the gang
Yeah.
charges?
Well, RICO laws were set up in New York to take down like the mafia. That's how they got John Gotti with those RICO charges, where basically if you are part of an organized criminal unit, if you are gang affiliated, if you and your friends run a drug ring or a mafia family or something, they'll get everybody. They'll take down every single person that's even connected. So even if you made a phone call for somebody so they can set up a drug deal, you'll go to prison just because you made the phone call. Or if a drug dealer gives you some money and you hold the money, you get 40, 50 years just because you held the money, even if you didn't do nothing. So like with RICO, Bobby Shmurda got, I think, hit with some RICO charges, if I'm not mistaken, and also Tekashi69. And
Right.
it's like, I think the reason it becomes easy for the cops is because you rapping about the fact that you gang affiliated. You rapping with guns in the video. So New York has strict gun laws. You ain't supposed to have guns. So you got guns in your video and you rapping that you are affiliated with an organized criminal unit. You're asking for prison time. Like, what was kind of like the talk amongst like artists, in your space, as you kind of saw what Tekashi was doing, how he was rising up and all that stuff?
Um, amongst us, amongst other artists that I've been talking to and stuff about this situation, basically we were all like, he was asking for this. We don't know why he thought that this wasn't just gonna bite him in his ass, because it was everywhere, and it was everywhere. Like all of the antics and people in the music industry, they talk and stuff, and all of the antics that he was doing, and the situation with the Chief Keef, like that was just way out of line. And then by that time, when we found out that he was the one who orchestrated that, we were like, okay, he's doomed. Like he's really.
When you say orchestrated that, tell me about that with Chief Keef. I'm interested in that because I'm from, I live in Chicago, and I know you're from Chicago. I know that like that drill hop and shit. Like real young people get killed over that. Right. Yeah. So what was going on with Chief Keef? Brief me on that because I don't know about that part.
Basically it was another situation where they were online, I guess, beefing or whatever. And Tekashi69 actually pulled up to Chief Keef's like old neighborhood, which is called O Block in Chicago. Tekashi pulled up at 5 a.m. when nobody was outside, and he made a video and was like, "Where everybody at? This not what y'all say it is. Where is everybody at?" And he was out to trying to have somebody test his gangster. And after that situation, one of Chief Keef's affiliates was beefing with him too about some female, and Tekashi69 basically ordered a hit on Chief Keef. And while he was out in New York, I guess Tekashi hired somebody to shoot at Chief Keef. He's not dead, he's not injured or anything like that, but basically that's what Tekashi did. So amongst all of the rappers, we're like, okay, he's getting way too in over his head, and once you get a little bit of money, you feel like you can do any and everything. We knew that he was going to jail. All of the stuff that he was doing, all of the people that he disrespected, we knew that he was going to jail.
Well, or even worse than that. I mean, it sounds like he wasn't gonna get judged by 12. He might get carried by 6. Right. He might end up dead. Like, yeah. I mean that, because I remember following like the stuff with Chief Keef, and I was concerned about that, because people were dying over that. Like down in Chicago in that area, like a lot, like rappers were killing other rappers because of what they rapped about. And so it's just kind of crazy that, I don't know what he was thinking. Like, I don't know, maybe he thinks because he's from New York that there's nothing happening in Chicago that he should be concerned about. But Chicago, some parts of Chicago, like the killing fields, like there's so many people dying, it's not even funny. So that so Tekashi was asking for it. What was his background like before he became big? What was he in a gang? Was he?
That's the other thing. There were pictures of him surfacing around where he was in suit and ties and going to quinceañeras and then whatnot. He was a regular Mexican kid. I think his name is Daniel. I'm not sure. I think it's Daniel Hernandez.
Isn't it Daniel Ortiz?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. And he was a regular kid, and then all of a sudden he just popped up and got the rainbow hair, and he's gang affiliated, and that's what he was. And you can obviously tell that wasn't his life before he ended up becoming a rapper. You could tell it's a difference between Tekashi69 and Daniel, and because Daniel is now in jail, he's snitching and he's telling everybody, he's turning on all of his affiliates, which is like Shoddy and stuff like that, who were, you know, his record label mates before he got locked up. So basically he's sitting up there snitching on everybody because this is not who he is, and he knows that, which is why he's turning on everybody, and he's snitching, and he's cooperating with the, you know, federal agents and telling them everything that was going on and what they were doing, because that's not who he is. So when you're a gangster, what you gonna do when you go, you know, they pull you into that room and you gotta talk? What you gonna do when you're a gangster? You're not gonna talk. But because Tekashi69 is not a gangster and he's perpetuating, I feel as though he got around a whole bunch of black folk and started peeping how they move and what they do, and he thought that was a lucrative opportunity to make money. That's not who he is, and that's not who he was before he became Tekashi69. And he got in a little bit too deep over his head.
Wow. Okay, everybody, I'm gonna let you guys know who we're talking about. I'm talking to the rapper Bunny Liiu out of LA, and we're talking about Tekashi69, a rapper that was facing a whole lot of time in prison, a ton of time in prison. And he's now turning, I think, state's evidence or to the, he's basically snitching on a lot of the people that he worked with, stuff like that. And it leads to a bigger conversation about hip hop and what it does to young people if they're not careful and getting too carried away in the culture. Now, do me a favor, if you are watching on drboycetv.com, please hit that thumbs up button. Take 1 second, hit the thumbs up button, and share this video also if you have it in your heart to do that. Also, just know that these are intelligent Black conversations. So if you want to support intelligent Black media, you can go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. So feel free to join us and become a patron. All right, so Bunny, let me ask you this question then. So Tekashi, you know, I'll ask a question, I'll make a comment, then I want you to give me your take based on what you're thinking, because you're very intelligent and I can tell you got a lot to say on all of this. Okay, so right now Tekashi, if I'm not mistaken, he's now, as you said, he's snitching on his friends. He's now, you know, turning back into like the private school kid who, you know, who's like I didn't really mean
I didn't do it.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I'll tell you everything. From what I understand, it's even deeper. Like a lot of the people he's snitching on are people that he worked closely with. But then there's like a situation involving like a girl, and his homeboy was messing with his baby mama, some shit like that. And you know, and I'm gonna tell you what I really see with this that bothers me, and I want to get your take on it. I want you to, if you can, fill me in on some of that too, like why he's so quick to turn on his friends, other than just being scared and other than just not really being about that life, but like it seems like there's more going on where he has no feeling, no reason to be loyal to any of these people. But you know, one thing that I'm really feeling too is it kind of makes me sad, because I feel like a lot of the people, you know, when they're young, they, you know, your dream is like, I want to be a rapper. But I think sometimes they don't understand that hip hop is not a safe industry all the time. You know, if you hang out with J. Cole, then it's no big deal. But if you run it with like, you know, like I don't know what's that lady's name, that one who's really good. Actually, she gives me credit for helping her become famous. You know, the one who thinks she's a boy. You know what I'm talking about. Young M.A. That's it. Like Young M.A. Like, you know, really, actually, go look it up. Go Google it on Vlad TV. She said Dr. Boyce, him posting my videos, what got me my record deal. She said, people can go look this up. I know hip hop. I mean, on breakfast.
You ain't gonna post some of my videos.
I know what I'm talking about. I know all of that stuff. I pay attention, but I also pay attention because I'm concerned. I want to make sure that as we're chasing our dreams, like we're chasing the right dream. Because sometimes that white man will he'll dangle some shit out in front of us, and we'll end up chasing a carrot that turns out to be a poison carrot. And when I saw Tekashi go down, I thought about Bobby Shmurda. And I remember when Bobby Shmurda, he thought he was like a success story. He thought he was living a dream. I saw him at Epic Records. He was dancing on the table for all those white people to impress him. And he got his record deal. He becomes the biggest rapper in New York. Now Bobby Shmurda been in prison, and ain't nobody from Epic Records coming to check on his ass. They motherfuckers ain't putting no money on his books. They ain't trying to get him out. They ain't vouching for him. They just basically went to the next nigga in line. That's their thinking. Like we got to find a new nigga to replace the old nigga because the old nigga's gone for good, right? So
that's what it is. That's what it is. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh, you go ahead.
That's what it is though. When young impressionable minds such as Tekashi and Bobby Shmurda, when they get in tune and affiliated with this type of culture, and they grow up with, in Bobby Shmurda's case, I know for a fact that he grew up in that type of culture. And that's what upsets me so much about Tekashi, is because it's people who will literally live this life who went down just by talking about their life, and talk about the experiences that they real life went through. And they ended up going to prison. And for Tekashi to not even be about this and to be who he is, which is not Tekashi69, basically Daniel, and to take what is, I'm not saying that it's a great culture. I'm not saying the gang culture and killing people and doing drugs and stuff is a good culture. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is this is a lot of young black men's lives that they're talking about. And that's what music is all about. That's what Biggie and that's what Tupac was all about, talking about their lives, talking about what they have been through. And that's not a game. That's nothing to play with. And the fact that Tekashi did play with that, he made money off of that. The record label that he was with made money off of that. And now he's going to jail. I feel like it's a mockery. It's a slap in the face to all of those young black boys that actually went through this and took their stories and created something positive out of it, which is music. And I feel as though it's a mockery. He's a total mockery for all of this.
I think that's a good point. And I was laughing at some of the comments. Somebody here called him Teriyaki69, and they're trying to say that he used to be a Crip and he switched to being a Blood. That's not true, is it? That he didn't used to be a Crip.
Not that I know of, no.
I hope not. And then somebody else, Prince Diamond, thank you for your donation, Prince Diamond. Prince Diamond says he's not going to be changed because he snitched on all the brothers that let him in their inner circle. So why did he snitch? Like, what's the story on that? Like, why did Tekashi decide that he was going to tell? I know he's scared. I know that he ain't about that life, but it seemed like there was like some personal stuff going on with a girl and
his girl, Sarah Molina, allegedly is in sexual relations with two of his associates, which is Shadi and this other guy by the name of Benny. So she homie hopping or whatever. She definitely homie hopping. Okay. And it turns out that he kind of found out about the situation and allegedly that's part of the reason why he's snitching now and telling everybody what's going on, because he's like, well, these niggas is messing with my girl, so why save them?
Shit. I mean, I wouldn't be trying to save somebody that was messing with my girl. I mean, I'm sorry, that part I understand. Like, seriously, like I mean, why be loyal to somebody who ain't being loyal to you? But then again, though, it definitely is like, I mean, it seems like the feds were the ones who really tested this gangster. And and the rule is real gangsters don't snitch, right? So they tested this gangster. It sounded like he failed the test. Like he got an F.
Yeah, basically. But I feel like he not. I mean, him turning around and snitching is, in my eyes, I feel as though if you participate in something and you had a hand in something, then you need to suffer the consequences and repercussions of it. I don't care in what circumstances would personal circumstances that'll come into play. Like you was running around doing dirt, then you go ahead and you suffer your consequences. You go to jail. You do whatever. You take your charges and you chin up and you go up in there and do what you gotta do. But I feel as though he wrong for snitching. I don't think that's cool. You ran around and you did your dirt. So I'm not sure why he's snitching. I don't care if they messed with my girlfriend. You knew she was doing what she was doing before you went up in there, but now you snitching.
Well, let me ask you this, just out of curiosity. So RICO laws in New York, are real serious, right? So basically, if you get, hit with a RICO charge, you might be talking about 30, 40, 50 years in prison, maybe even 2 or 3 life sentences with no parole, that kind of thing. So let's say you're in a situation where, you and your friends got into some shit, and also your friend is not being loyal to you. Like let's say your friend snitching on you. Let's say your friend, left you hanging out to dry, and you're facing, a life sentence with no parole. Or you could keep you could keep a gangster and not snitch and do a life sentence with no parole, rest of your life in prison. You Tekashi, you're gonna get raped, you're gonna get beat up. They're gonna test your gangster every motherfucking day for the next 85 years. Seriously, if he goes to prison, they're gonna test his gangster every day because he's the famous guy in prison now, right? Or they say, look, you can cooperate and we'll give you maybe 3-4 years. You'll be able to get out. Watch your baby grow up. He got kids, right? You got any kids, like a baby?
Yeah, he has a daughter.
He's got baby mama. That's right. So it means he got a baby, right? So you can, so you do this for your son, or your daughter, whatever he's got, right? Do this for your son, and it'll hurt. It'll make you feel bad, but your son will know that his father's there for him. What do you do? Which choice do you make? And y'all answer. Y'all in the chat. Tell me.
Y'all in the chat.
Y'all in the chat what y'all think. What would you do in that same situation?
You answer first.
Well, see, here's the dilemma. First of all, I'm gonna say this. I would do everything I could not to be in that situation. Like the most important decisions Tekashi ever made were made long before he got to this point, right? But he didn't have good advice. That's what it is. A lot of these guys, like you could tell which one of these dudes ain't got a father. Like I believe if Tekashi had a good father, if Bobby Shmurda had a good father, your father's the one who sits you down and says, "Look, dumbass," you know what I mean? Like your father's the one who's like, I'm gonna beat your ass if I see you out here doing this bullshit, right? That's why fathers do matter. Mothers matter too, but boys don't always respond to their mothers the same way they respond to. Like mama, they'll be like, "Oh, mama, you don't understand. You don't know what it's like. I'm trying to keep it gangster, right?" Whereas the father might be like my father really was a gangster. Seriously, like my father has killed people. My father has been in the military. My father has, he's been hooked on drugs. He came back from that. My father's been through some shit, right? So if I was out here trying to do it, actually, you know what? I'll tell a real story. My father saw me on a TV show where I was on a show with a rapper. He's a little more old school, like Method Man. And basically, my father saw me. I didn't correct something that he knows I didn't agree with. And I remember he called me and I said, "So what'd you think about the TV show?" This was like years ago, a long time ago. And he said, "Why?" He said, "You know that was some ignorant shit." He said, I said, "Yeah, but I didn't want to really ruffle no feathers and mess it up." He said, "No, you don't ever sit back and co-sign on ignorance." Like that was like a minor way of him just checking me, like saying like, no, no, that's not how you carry yourself as a man, right? So I believe that if Tekashi or Bobby Shmurda had good fathers, your father's the one who warns you about the road ahead, so you don't get carried away. So I personally think, to answer your question, what would I do? Honestly, if I got a baby, I'm not going to be in prison for the next 80 years explaining to my son, well, the reason you don't have a daddy in the house is because I was standing up for some niggas who don't give a shit about you, me, your mama, or none of us. I cannot do that. I would go ahead.
So you wouldn't tell your son. So you wouldn't go to jail and you wouldn't tell your son, "Hey son, I'm in this situation because I made some dumb mistakes," and you.
No. I'm saying I would not want to sit there and be like, "Well, I ain't snitching. I ain't talking, blah, blah, blah." So you in prison now, right? You doing 180 years because you want to keep it gangster for some motherfuckers that don't give a shit about you. and your son is coming to visit you behind prison walls. Your son is out making the same mistakes you made because he doesn't have a father at home. And the only thing you could say to your son when he says, "Well, why didn't you go ahead and work it out?"
Right. I get what you're saying.
I would not want to have to tell my son the reason I can't be there for you is because I was trying to be there for these people who don't give a shit. I'm just gonna be honest with you. So that's why I'm not doing a tour called Test My Gangster. There's areas where you can test my gangster because these are things I believe in, right? Like I would take a bullet, for the black community. I would take a bullet for what I believe in, all of that. But I'm not gonna go down over no bullshit like that. And that's what I'm saying. Like I think some of these guys, they get killed over bullshit. They go to prison over bullshit. Like this is all fabricated. Tekashi, where the fuck did he come from? This motherfucker. Like this, nobody knew who he was. And go back to 2016, no one knew who he was. All of a sudden, his videos are getting 250 million views, and he's that's manufactured. There's a white man behind the scenes that's setting all this shit up. In fact, when he was, and then I'm gonna pass the ball back to you, but I gotta say this, Brittany. I saw where he was beefing with another rapper that I'd never heard of named Trippie Redd. Like Trippie Redd, it's like these rappers like poof, they just appear, right? Like nobody knew who Trippie Redd was 4 years ago. Now, if suddenly Trippie Redd got 200 million views, Trippie Redd and Tekashi69 were beefing back and forth, right? I could have sworn that I read that they are both represented by the same Jewish man. Tell me if I'm crazy. I could have sworn. I'm gonna go look that up again, but I could have sworn that the same white man, it's like he's taking two nigga puppets, and he's like, I want the nigga puppets to fight in public so that they will sell more records and I'll make more money, and both of the niggas will end up dead or in prison. That's what they do to us. They use us like puppets, and it pisses me off. I'm done talking. I'm sure you got a lot to say on that.
I totally agree with you, and that's what I was going back to that's why I was talking about the situation with Bobby Shmurda. The fact that you literally were at the top of you were literally at the top of your game, and then all of a sudden, poof, everything's just gone, disappeared. You in jail, all because you're talking about what you were going through in your life. I just feel as though the record industry and just a whole bunch of people behind the scenes is constantly using gangster rap and constantly using gangster rap and perpetuating all of these negative imageries to make money. And it's not fair when there's so many other things to talk about, and there's so many other things. It's so funny because when 21 Savage is allegedly not a citizen here in the United States. And everybody was saying that when he started talking about financial literacy and opening up schools and doing businesses and hosting classes for kids to learn more about finances, and he was also calling out ICE or whatever about immigration laws. He's calling them out, going on national TV, talking about this stuff, and all of a sudden he got arrested, he got deported. Like it just seems as though when you're trying to turn over a new leaf in the hip hop industry, and it's a black person and somebody who's trying to do something positive, all of a sudden everything just up and poops. And I really do feel as though the record industry right now and social media and stuff is perpetuating straight hatred and not promoting unity amongst everybody, especially people of color.
Well, you know what? Check this out, Britt. Remember I was telling you before my little conspiracy theory when I said Trippie Redd and Tekashi69 were represented by the same people?
Yeah.
I do know, I just Googled it, and I do know that they both had the same label. They're both a Universal Music Group. Now the reason that's interesting to me is because if y'all with the same label and y'all got the same boss and y'all are beefing, and these beefs get serious, these guys, they carrying guns and shit. This is not, even if the rappers themselves are not gangsters, they're usually surrounded by killers. They're surrounded by people that will pull out a gun and hurt somebody. If y'all got the same boss, if that boss really wants what's best for you, then the boss would pull you together and say, let's work this out, right? That's what they would do. That's what Universal, that's what their managers would have done. But they did not do that. They wanted them to continue to beef. And it reminds me of when Tupac and Biggie, when that shit escalated, when the East Coast, West Coast thing escalated, You had like the Source magazine and other places that wanted the beef to continue. They would write about it because they knew that the beef would sell magazines. They knew that the beef would get people watching it on TV. They knew the beef would sell records. So everybody wanted them to beef. And in the end of the day, you know, the people that suffered were the black men. You know, Biggie Pac end up dead. You know, people end up going to jail. People's lives end up getting ruined. Children grow up without their parents now because you're trying to sell some records.
Awesome.
So I think that seeing that whole picture, seeing the whole chessboard is really important, you know, for rappers, because rap is like the most influential art form, one of the most influential art forms in the history.
The most influential art form, actually. Yeah, agree.
Very influential. People dress like rappers. They wear the same shoes as rappers. They talk like rappers. You know, they promote ideas that rappers share, and that's what rap originally did. Like when hip hop first started, that's what it was used for. It was used to tell people what's going on in the hood, to tell people, like, to get them to rally behind a cause. Like, you know, Chuck D and Public Enemy what got people like politically involved in fighting the power and racism. X-Clan got people excited about being African. You know, like they really made it cool to want to be like connect to your African culture. And it's almost like they took it and they said, okay, let's make this promote something that's going to be destructive so we can get more people filling up the prisons. We can get more, you know, dead black people. We can get more black. We can find a reason.
Yeah, they're flipping the narrative.
Yeah, go ahead. So I'm gonna let you get the last word on this. You know, so we had a good conversation. I think it's really good. I think it's cool. Like, I like talking to you in your age bracket because you're educating me on kind of like what's really going on. Like some of that stuff I didn't know about Chief Keef and all that. I follow a lot of the stuff. I probably follow it more than most people my age, but the stuff about Chief Keef I didn't even know about. But I knew enough to know that was fucked up. Like, you don't roll up in Chief Keef's neighborhood with a you know, doing selfies and shit. Like that's not right.
Exactly. But that's the whole thing. That's just the thing about this generation is cloud chasing and seeking validation from Instagram and Twitter and basically seeking validation from your counterparts, all off the strength of social media. And that's what a lot of this stuff stems from too. Just pretending to be somebody you're not because you get instant gratification and you get instant popularity from doing dumb shit on social media. And everybody doesn't know how bad that can, you know, that can mess up your life. And that's basically what happened with Tekashi69.
All right. Well, you know, I appreciate your excellent analysis, and I was really impressed with it. And everybody, I want you guys to give Bunny Liiu a digital round of applause, give some thumbs up and some thank yous and way to go, because we have to really applaud our young people that are intelligent, that are really trying to grow and to be their best version of themselves. And I can tell you, she's a very talented artist. Where can people follow you? It's spelled Liiu, Bunny Liiu. You're on Instagram, right?
Yeah, I don't have Facebook right now. We'll be making one soon, but I have an Instagram. It's Bunny Liiu, BUNNYLIIU, all one name. And it should pop up as Auntie Bunny on there for some way, somehow. But yep, that's me.
All right. So everybody go to Instagram, go to IG and follow Bunny Liiu, Liiu, one word, Bunny Liiu, Liiu. And also follow me at The Real Boyce Watkins on Instagram if you aren't doing that already. And some of y'all are from Instagram. I want to say, hey, what's up to everybody there? Everybody on YouTube, please take a second right now. Please hit that thumbs up button so that we can have these intelligent conversations about the issues that affect our community. Thank you on Twitter. Please retweet this video. And also, if you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, you can go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. So thank you again to our guest, Miss Bunny Liiu. And you guys have a good day, and we will see you all soon. Take care now. Bye-bye. All right, so you just hang out, Bunny, for a second. I'm going to shut us down.